Good evening. I am Marlisa Rosser, and this is the Gifted Nation Network Action News. Today, we are covering a special on the underachieved gifted students. Patterns of underachievement for gifted students are more relevant than you think. The Center for the Gifted tells us types of key issues that lead to underachievement, such as avoidance of responsibility, anxiety, or search for identity, just to name a few. So first up, we have a gifted analyst named Yolanda Miller, who is going to give us some information on the identification of the underachieved gifted students. Over to you, Yolanda.
Thanks, Arlisa. Most gifted underachievers are good students with serious challenges. And it's my hope with the distribution of this information, it will help educators and parents to better address the needs of this at-risk population. According to Seeley, 15 to 40% of gifted students are at risk for serious academic underachievement or school failure. And the U.S. Office of Education data suggests that as many as 50% of students in the top 25% of their high school class will never graduate from college. Worst of all, it is believed that 10 to 20% of the high school dropouts come from the gifted population. An alarming statistic which shows the magnitude and seriousness of the underachieved gifted problem. Numerous definitions exist, however, the most comprehensive is that of Reese and McCoach, who attest that underachievers are students who exhibit a severe discrepancy between the expected achievement as measured by standardized tests and assessments given in their classrooms and actual achievement as measured by their grades and teacher evaluations. And this pattern of underachievement must be a long-term occurrence. For example, one of my clients is considered to be an underachieving gifted student by his teachers due to the fact that he exhibits many of the following characteristics. He is socially more immature than the achievers in his class. He lacks self-discipline, refuses tasks that he deems to be unpleasant, avoids challenges, and is highly distractible and impulsive. However, when it comes to state assessments, he always outperforms his peers. Back to you, Arlisa.
Yolanda. I now have word that we have Victoria in the field at Riverdale Middle School to get the inside scoop on what it's like for the gifted teacher of the underachieved gifted learner. Over to you, Victoria.
Thanks, Arlisa. Victoria Del Rio here in the field with Deborah Dorsey, a gifted math teacher at Riverdale Middle School. Miss Dorsey, could you please tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the unmotivated gifted student?
Well, we have many students who are gifted and they are unmotivated because sometimes I think they feel because some of the work is not as difficult or as challenging for them as other students, that maybe everything comes that easily for them, and so they choose a lot of times not to work as hard or study as much because they think it's going to be really easy.
Do you find that those students that end up falling behind?
They can fall behind. A lot of times it does not happen if the teacher catches it really early and that teacher, he or she, is able to work with those students and help them to understand how important it is to stay on top of their work. So we definitely have the unmotivated student, but it is up to the teacher and the parents to assist that student in becoming more motivated.
Absolutely. One thing that I've read in studies is that because part of the gifted identity and persona is that you don't have to work that hard because you are naturally gifted, as it's shown in the media. Because you are naturally gifted, when students who are gifted struggle in subjects, sometimes they think it goes against their identity to work hard in those subjects. Do you find that to be true with your unmotivated gifted students?
Sometimes, yes. One of the things we have to help the students to understand is you can be gifted. That does not mean that you are gifted in every area. So I have students who are avid readers, and they love to read. They can read and understand, comprehend, but then they struggle in mathematics. And then I have gifted students who are gifted in math, and they struggle in reading or ELA. So it's just getting them to understand that you do need to work hard regardless of where you are. And a perfect example would be right now, one of the top basketball players in the NBA is LeBron James. I believe that athletically, he's gifted, but he is one of the hardest working athletes that you will ever find. So simply because he's gifted does not mean he doesn't have to work hard. It means he works even harder. He's more motivated.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. Arlisa, I'm here with Glory. She is a student at Riverdale Middle School and she is gifted. Glory, could you tell me a little bit about your academics and being gifted and the curriculum and your motivation?
I mean, I'm smart, so there's not really a lot of motivation. So it's like, I don't really need to try.
Okay.
Because I was like, I'm awesome.
Okay, that's
like
awesome.
Born this way.
That's great.
Like smarter than most of the people in there. I don't really need to try that much.
So how are you doing? Are you doing well in your classes?
Most of them.
Are you
like,
struggling in any of the classes?
One or two, yeah.
And what do you think you need to do better in those classes?
I mean, I'll get better on my own. I don't really need to study. I don't think I need to study. It'll just come naturally for
Do
me.
you feel motivated to go home and work on those subjects?
No.
Okay. Okay. Now I'm here with Marie. She is also one of Miss Dorsey's students. However, she is not technically slated as gifted, so I'm here to talk to her some about her academics. Marie, can you tell me a little bit about your academic experience at Riverdale Middle School?
Well, like you said, I'm not technically gifted, but I do appreciate working hard, and I feel like there's nothing wrong with that.
So do you do well in school? Do you do better than some of your peers in your gifted classes?
Well, yeah, I would say mainly probably because they're not motivated, but
Would you say all of them are motivated or just some of them?
just some of them.
Just some of them. Okay, and why do you think that they're not motivated?
Well, maybe because they, they got comfortable with the title of being gifted or whatever, so they feel like they shouldn't work as hard or they don't need to work as hard.
Okay, thank you, Marie.
Well, folks, there you have it. Underachieved gifted students are a vastly growing population amongst the gifted nation, and we have only skimmed the surface of really understanding these gifted students. Tune in next week for key points geared towards parents and teachers on how to motivate the underachieved gifted students. Thank you.